Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Xochitl. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all of my videos. Today I wanted to do a chatty, get ready with me, a chatty let's do makeup video because I know, only one video last week. Your girl's been busy. I'll talk to you a little bit about it. A lot of things going on, but I was like, I want to put on some makeup. So let's put on some makeup to go absolutely nowhere. Yay, that's like the theme these last couple months. But first day of fall, feeling the fall vibes, so exciting. I feel like all of a sudden the weather's gonna drop just out of nowhere. Like, it's still been pretty nice, but I was like, which palette? Fall vibes. I want to do pretty easy a look, chocolatey type of a look. And so I pulled out my Anastasia Beverly Hills Jackie Aina palette, and I kind of want to play. I think I really just want to use like these three colors right here. 1, 2, 3, and just go with that. But talk to you guys what I've been up to, because it's been a lot. Although sometimes I'm like, I didn't do much today, and then you go back, you're like, oh yeah, that's why I'm tired. So let's just get into it. I'm going in with my e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer. And in case I get very, very chatty, which you know if you follow me here on my channel, you know I'm a Gemini, you know I will. But also it's a chatty, get ready with me. So it's more about the chat than the makeup, but why can't we combine both? Which is what I'm going to do. And oh, I forgot to bring my friend. I'll talk about it soon. Her. But going in. Sorry. The water shower drain was doing something weird. I was like, what is that noise? I was like, okay, we're electric and all gas. What is she doing? Something's going on with the bathtub, which sucks because I need to shower. Okay. Anyway, let's get the brows on. Alrighty, like I said, this is gonna be PC. Alright, so the first shade I'm going to go in with is a ginger. Who knows, we can probably even do 2 colors. Forgot a real big buffer brush, but I've been waiting to do my makeup for a while, so that shower drain better, behave today. But yes, so I've been busy. I feel like days are just a blur. The things that I am doing. So you have your full-time job, Monday through Friday, and we have YouTube, which I know I've been slacking, but I hope you guys enjoyed my last vlog, a couple behind the scenes. And item number 3, which is our brand, our company, a WERK MIJA that I started. Follow us on Instagram. Shameless plug all day, every day. Don't feel ashamed to plug what you're doing. Might as well, but it's been going great. We've been selling mugs. I've been slinging mugs. That's what I do these days now. I've been slinging coffee mugs, our Chingona Fuel mug, and our Believe in Yourself MIJA mug. And honestly, they're both getting love, which I'm super duper excited for. Of course, Chingona Fuel is just getting a wee bit, just a smidge more love. But I mean, come on. Like, that was like the first one that I knew I was going to release, and yes, I love it, you love it, we all love it. But I also love that everybody else loves the Believe in Yourself MIJA mug, as well as our Mujer spotlights on Instagram. And right now I'm just starting off with women that I know who are doing amazing things, and there's lots of women, whether it's friend, whether it's family. So I'm excited to get those featured posts out. I just featured one of my friends, Adriana. She graduated, she got her MBA from DePaul University, so you guys can check that out. Instagram link on the bio. But just ways for us to get inspired. I feel like every story is different, every woman's experience is different, and somebody's experience might resonate a little bit more with you than another one. But I like having those kind of variations, and just in general, just be inspired, feel empowered by different women. So that's been taking up my time. That's my life now. What was I going to say? And then I also have another secret side project, which hopefully I can talk to you guys about more. If not, it's going to be a while till I kind of can, and that one's going to eat up my weekends pretty much in October. A little bit, this month and, you know, stuff like that. But finally got that one rolling. I'm super excited once I can share a little bit more about what that is. So much fun, but exciting. Very, very exciting, very busy. And I feel like it's been a very busy Virgo season. I'm going in with the shade Edges for sure. I feel like everything just came in Virgo season. It was just like, just keep swimming, which has been my mantra for life. Which also, something else that I did, was it starting in September? Yeah, so September, especially because I was going to start a business. I was like, there's going to be a lots of ups, lots of downs. It's going to be a freaking roller coaster of emotions, whether good or whether bad. But I feel like handling those lows is going to be a little bit tricky. And for me, something that I thought, like, I always felt like I'm pretty good about talking to myself, like talking through things, processing things. And I feel like for me, the biggest example is my weight loss journey, kind of getting to the root of the actual problem rather than trying to just lose the weight, because the weight isn't just the weight, it isn't just a number, it has meaning. And for me, being able to basically figure out what the root of the problem is, you know, where it's stemming from, putting, you know, action towards it, I feel like that has really helped me maintain the weight loss. I feel like that's what I've been focusing on mainly these like last couple, like August and September. It hasn't been about losing weight. It's mostly been like, one, I'm way too busy, but it's more maintaining, but still being like conscious about what you're eating, enjoying some good food, of course, but being very conscious about the decisions you make and not kind of repeating old patterns and being able to kind of break those habits finally. But because I kind of got to the root of the problem, I feel like had I just like done a short-term diets and not really ever got into or figured out what that problem was, I feel like I would have been yo-yoing. I probably would have gained like, or would be gaining, you know, the weight back, which yes, with life stuff and things getting crazy, you know, it's normal sometimes, but I think this is just more helpful to my journey in general. So because of that, I'm like, okay, I'm good at talking myself, you know, through things. I got there. But for me, I'm like, when it comes to like the business, I want to move quicker and faster, just grow more and grow quicker and basically figure out, because there's going to be a lot of roadblocks. And I feel like a lot of those are probably going to be my own mental roadblocks, my own kind of obstacles that I'm just creating for myself, which, you know, we do. So I want to get out of that kind of quicker, figure out why that is, and basically, you know, not keep myself from growing, allow myself to grow. So I finally decided, I was like, okay, let's, you know, seek out a therapist. I think before, for me, it wasn't anything like I didn't want to. I was just like, where do you even start? Like, what do we talk about? Like, hello. And, you know, and for more than anything, I like learning new things about myself. I like knowing or understanding why, the what's and the whys I do things, especially if it's maybe things I don't like or things that bring me down. I don't like to be brought down. My two biggest pet peeves in life. The first pet peeve is people wasting my time. And the second one is people killing my vibe. And especially sucks when I'm killing my own vibe. So I was like, I like to be happy. I like to not only feel it, not be it, but like feel it as well. So far I've really been liking it. I've been enjoying it and been, you know, learning some new things. Okay, I think we're going to go in. I'm going to go in with credit and having some of those like, moments. I feel like it's been very, very helpful just to be aware of things that I'm pretty aware of things or figuring out and being aware. But then some other things is like, I would not have done that. Like, oh, you're right. So one of the things that I did actually kind of learn a little bit more and like about, and I think this is just a topic that I feel like we don't talk about enough. So I just kind of wanted to bring it up. And I feel like maybe a reason why this is something that wasn't at like the forefront for me or something I've ever really talked about is because I guess I wasn't aware or didn't know. So anxiety. And especially because, you know, sometimes I don't ever want to put anybody down, but there are some people who not overplay it, but I know it's kind of weird, but some people who might just say it just because it's like trending, you know? Unfortunately, like I do believe everybody does have some form of anxiety. And I feel like for me, I never really knew what anxiety was. More than anything, I didn't know, what does anxiety feel like? What is that? Like you kind of know, like, oh, this is anxiety, but I've never known the feelings, like the symptoms of it. So until I think it was like 1 or 2 years ago, one of my coworkers, he was telling me, he's like, I was like, oh yeah, you don't drink coffee, right? He's like, no, it like really just kind of piques my anxiety. Like it just makes it a little bit worse. So I avoided it. I'm just like, what? He was going to tell me like what he experiences. I was like, oh, is that what that is? I didn't realize, like, oh, I think I've been having this feeling, experiencing this quite a bit actually. And for me, I didn't, like the kind of like the heart racing or like just so much that it feels like almost like my eardrums are like kind of beating. And I noticed, I was like, you're right, when I have coffee, like, oh my gosh, yeah, I totally get you, but I'm still gonna drink it. Or for me, it was just like I never really did anything about it. I feel like I never addressed it. And I was telling my therapist, like, I've never addressed it because I've just felt like it wasn't anything that really kind of kept me from doing anything in particular. Like it didn't, what do you call it? Yeah, like just didn't stop me. It didn't feel like it was in the way, because for me, when I felt the anxiety and I was like, oh my God, like you're feeling some type of way and you're just like, let's type away. Like, all right, let's go. When you have anxiety and then you pump it up with some coffee, you're like, let's get to work. I was like, hey, we're being productive here. So I was like, it's not a problem. Like I'm getting things done. I don't understand. I actually quite like it. Turns out, for me, I learned that sometimes, some anxiety isn't like, not all anxiety is bad. There's the de-stress and then there's eustress, which actually kind of helps you, which is probably what I've been experiencing my whole life. And I basically learned that I have high functioning anxiety. So for me, I guess with that feeling of like anxiousness and like, what I've learned to do is the way that I've personally just learned to manage my anxiety without even really knowing is by putting it into productive projects. So my sister would always, or people like who know me, it's like, oh, what side project are you doing now? What new thing are you into? Because for me especially, it's like, oh, I'm into this, let's get all into it. Or like I've always had side hustles or side projects, my YouTube channel. I remember I told my therapist, I was like, yeah, I can't imagine, getting out of work, coming home, and he's like sitting back and relaxing and enjoying that. I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know what I would do without my YouTube. Or one of my many projects that I would do, or side hustles that I was like, oh, is that what I've been doing? So I've just been putting my anxiety into productive projects. And, well, hello, new business. But that's just how I like to keep busy. And there's some good and there's some bad that comes out of it. For me, I haven't seen it as anything bad until the evening time. So for me, it's like, all right, to manage it, you're going to put all your little anxiety into a box and push it aside and get to work and distract yourself with, whatever little side project you have. But then when you go to sleep at night, it's like that little box just pops open, and that's, where that little bit of insomnia comes in, where you can't fall asleep because you got all the little thoughts happening. And I'm just like, oh my God, So I was like, that's kind of the downfall from it for me, because I've always just been a terrible sleeper, tossing and turning. And I remember I was telling Frankie, and I'm just like tossing and turning. He's like, you're fine, like you've done it. And I was like, or you've, been able to like deal with it. He's like, I'm fine. I was like, or have you learned how to deal with it? Because it was like, whenever I go like on vacation or something, he's always like, I love you, but when you go on vacation like with your friends or something, I get the best sleep ever because there isn't someone next to him like tossing and turning. But I just thought that was interesting. I was like, wow, I would have never, I don't realize. I was like, oh, is that what that is? Because I always try to figure out, I was like, I feel like I have it, but I was like, I feel like I've been fine. And that's the thing with some people. I was reading like common things for like, people who have high functioning anxiety, is that a lot of the times it can be dismissed, not only by yourself, which I feel like I have, but like other people. Like I'd tell Frankie and he's like, you're fine, because it's like you're excelling. And you seem fine. And I was like, I do, but I'm not. But that's just what I've been doing. So I thought that was very, very interesting. And I thought just in general, I feel like that's something we should talk about. And I feel like I never known really what anxiety was, because we don't really talk about it in the Latino community. We don't really talk about it in our households. And I feel like that's just always what it's been. You're fine, you're fine. And for me, I'm always like kidding around, but now I'm like, ooh, that's true. Has been my mantra, has always been just keep swimming, like just keep going, it'll disappear. Or I've always, said I'm like, I'm a duck on water, seem fine on the outside, but on the inside it's like, oh, So I thought that was, but then the other interesting part for me, because it's like talking to my therapist, it's not totally a bad thing. The bad thing for me is like the falling asleep part, which I think that's something I want to learn how to manage in different ways to kind of figure out how to kind of handle that issue. Because that's the one thing that does bother me, because I love my sleep. I do like analyzing and overanalyzing things too, though. But I'd rather be able to sleep. But thinking about it is just kind of like, so if I ever get interviewed and they're like, wow, do you feel like your ambition has gotten you this far? I feel like my answer now would be, actually, it's not my ambition that's gotten me this far. It's my high functioning anxiety that's has been propelling me forward all these years, it turns out. But there's probably some degree of my ambition. But a lot of that I'm going to contribute to my high functioning anxiety. It's like, do more. Just do more and distract yourself. Do something else and distract yourself. So that's just how I've been dealing with it. But then also, comes down to it, is that something you want to get rid of? And it's just me overanalyzing, overthinking. But like, I feel like it was like a superhero movie I was thinking about, where it was like their superpower was it was a benefit, but it was their benefit, but it was also like their downfall. It was like their weakness. It was a strength and a weakness. And it was like, okay, but if you get rid of it, then you're also kind of getting rid of that big part of yourself, that important part of yourself. Because for me, I was like, okay, say I were to get rid of that little anxiety, would I still have this wanted need for all these side little projects, for all these little crafts that for some people would be like, oh my God, like that just seems like stressful work, but that relaxes you? I was like, yeah. Like these overcomplicated little crafts or things that take hours. But to me, that's soothing. That's what works for me. Would I do those still? So I don't think that's something, the part that I do want to manage is the sleep part, but it's not a bad thing. At least I don't see. I don't know. I'll let you know after a couple more sessions. But just something I figured out. And I feel like for those of you, who knows, maybe somebody else has been like, oh, is that what that is? I was like, let me talk about it. Maybe it's a light bulb moment. Or in general, I feel like my anxiety isn't to the point where it is something like a little bit more heavily diagnosed. But I think for those of you who have been, get those feelings, and there are some people where their anxiety does get in the way of their day-to-day life, I think that would be good to address with someone or with like a therapist and stuff. And so I like therapy. It's fun. Also, it makes me feel a bit like, maybe I'm a little bit like, interesting. But I like it. I think from that too, the other route I've been going to is astrology. I love it. If you love astrology, comment down below. Use the Fenty Beauty, by the way, foundation. I'm going to use a Fenty Beauty concealer. But yeah, if you love astrology, comment down below, because I freaking love it. And I'll be, talking more about that if y'all want. But that was the tricky part, I feel like, when going to therapy. Because sometimes my therapist would ask me, he's like, well, why do you think you get those intense, angry feelings? And sometimes I wanted to be like, well, my Aries moon, my moon in Aries, let me tell you. I mean, like, I can explain it like that. But I was like, okay, let me hold back. Not until this last session that I mentioned I was into astrology. And he's like, ooh, I was like, I was trying to like read his thoughts to see what he thought about that. But he's like, oh, we actually do have someone on staff who reads tarot cards. I was like, ooh, something else I would like to get into. But one of the things I was reading about an astrology, and something I want to learn a little bit more about, I feel like especially for me, because I've finally found what it is I want to do with my life, which is my business, which we're growing. And it took me a while to get there. But I feel like this just kind of like clarified and just, what do you call it? Solidified. There you go. It was. If you guys are feeling a little bit lost, maybe it might not be the answer specifically, but if there's something lingering there, it might just be a little pathway into is like, what is my career path? What's at least a path? Figure out your midheaven. So your midheaven is I believe the 10th house, which relates to like career path and, you know, your kind of like goals in life and stuff like that. So figure out your midheaven, go somewhere like Cafe Astrology or one of those, you know, astrology websites where you can get your full birth chart. Because for those of you non-believers, you're probably an earth sign, maybe a Taurus or an Aquarius. But for those of you non-believers, it's not just about your sun sign. It's the whole, you know, birth chart. And so if you look up your midheaven, that will kind of give you a little indicator into like your career path, which I thought was really helpful. And it was like, whoa. Let me see. Going with Alamar Cosmetics, Brighten and Bronze palette. But the midheaven is also, if you know your midheaven, you're going to know what your IC is, which is kind of like your opposites, the opposite sign of whatever your midheaven sign is. And basically, in order to understand your midheaven, where like your like path is, basically think of it as like a tree. So the midheaven is like the leaves, the branches, but in order to understand, you know, how to get and grow and bloom into that, you have to understand the IC basically is where you're coming from, your roots. So kind of, you know, who you were as a child, and that will help you also kind of together understand what your midheaven is in. Because if you don't know kind of where you're coming from, where you came from, what your environment was, you can't really know basically where you're going and what you're meant to kind of do in life. So for me, when I was looking up my midheaven, it's in Virgo, which is interesting because I was like, oh yeah, that's one of the only earthy signs I really have in my birth chart, which I was like, yes, I'm kind of glad it's Virgo. Virgo is so like hardworking. But because it's in Virgo, my IC, so like where my roots come from is Pisces. And I thought that was interesting because I was like, I don't have like any water in my chart at all, except for my IC, which is in Pisces. And when I was reading about it, I was like, that totally makes sense. I'm gonna go in with credit down here, but yeah. So it was funny because before I had gone to like actual kind of like traditional therapy. It was funny. And before I read about the midheaven and IC, I was telling my sister, I was like, I don't know why, but I do want to do traditional therapy. But at the same time, I feel like I need something a little bit more of a type of spiritual therapy. I was like, where is that coming from? Could be my, you know, hippie-esque child upbringing. But I was like trying to understand that. And I feel like I'm not, for those of you who don't know me, but I am not baptized. I'm not Catholic. I don't have a religion. My parents just decided like, hey, we, you know, rather have you can decide when you're older, which I want to do with my kids because I was like, you know, we're not going into that. But, you know, I'm a free agent basically. And for me, I don't know. I always felt like I did have maybe more of a spiritual kind of upbringing. It's like I did believe, you know, that when people pass away, they are looking after us and stuff like that. But it was funny because I was telling my sister, I was like, I don't know why. I needed something more, some sort of spiritual hit. I don't know what that is. And I kind of have an idea, but who knows? I feel like I still can grow. But because of the Pisces, when I was reading the Midheaven in your IC, it was like, because of your Pisces IC, you would benefit from a type of a spiritual healing therapy. I was like, I knew it. So one of the things that I finally was like, all right, let's do it. Because I was like, oh, what would it be? You know, what is it for me that I'm going to like, that I feel like would be useful? And let me put on my brows, just so I look a little bit better when I talk about this. Okay, I've got brows on now. I feel a little bit better. But, so one thing that I'm trying, that I'm now a part of, I got my first plant. So, I'm about to be a crazy plant lady. This is my first ever a little plant baby. I got mine from the CEMIA's plant studio here in Chicago, in Pilsen, a Latina owned. So excited. I think they had just opened this year too. And honestly, okay. Oh my God, so cute. This is a Lucia. But I'll put her aside over here. She travels around. But for me, I think what kind of really got me, finally, it's like everything kind of came together. Doesn't it always? But what like got me, I was like always thinking about it. I was like, it just kept popping up. I forgot why. I think a bunch of people that I knew on Instagram kept like showing their like new plants, and specifically from that CEMIA's plant studio, and I really liked it. Their Instagram honestly got me. Or finally I was like, let me just follow it, because it was like just a little bit more modern, cool, you know, trendy. And honestly, with this whole pandemic and in general, I was reading this one article about how like stressed out millennials are getting into plants. It's a thing. But I had just been seeing, I was like, let me just let it simmer. Let me just watch. More than anything, I just loved how just aesthetically pleasing like plants were and stuff. So I was like, let me just follow it. I kind of like this like IG handle. And then finally, I was just like, oh, you know what? Like, I really want to visit this place. I really want a plant. I have never been like, I want a plant. Like, I've never understood plant life. I never understood the need for a plant or the whole just love for it. Because, y'all know that, there's some jungles up in people's houses. And so I got my first one. And I feel like I'm ready for like 50 more. But for me, I really especially gravitated towards plants because I just feel like the whole more like healing part of it, the kind of, the healing aspects, the benefits of plants. And I feel like they are good stress relievers. They do just make you happy. Like I got this one, I'm just like, oh, how you doing? So I got my first plants, and I also got the vase from there. So I feel like for me, not only like the benefits of plants that got me, just in general, the aestheticness of the plant itself, but then also I feel like pottery, the art, the visual arts of like pottery and stuff. So I got this and I was like, ooh, like you just instantly feel a little bit relaxed, a little bit overwhelmed. Just because I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? But apparently this one's a snake plant. Pretty easy. Let's hope I don't mess this up. But pretty low maintenance. They don't need too much sunlight. They really don't need to be watered that often. And then I was just kind of like, in a way, I was like, I can't wait to water you next. Like maybe I need another plant that needs a little bit more love and tending to. But I'm super excited to watch this one grow, and I'm just like researching more and more about it. So any tips for snake plants, drop them down below. Plant ladies, calling y'all plant ladies. Because I feel like either you grew up in like a plant household and you're about that life, you learned from that and that's just, who you are. Or maybe you're just getting into it when like you're older for some reason, and this is my reason. But I got this one plant, and since I've fallen down the rabbit hole of the plant life, the crazy plant lady life, and I can't wait to get my next one, I found a plant shop that's in walking distance. I was like, ooh. Every day I feel like I'm just gonna come home like, oops, there's another one. I just like, I don't know if you guys have seen that TikTok. It's just like, started off like this, like, and it went like, and it's like, just like crap ton more, which, I'm not surprised with my obsessive tendencies. Whenever I get into something new, I was like, I need to get all into it. I need this, and I need this, and I need this, and I need this. So, but I was like, plants are not too bad. It's good for you. But then also, I'm like, I was like, I wonder my therapist is going to say. Because it's like, yes, that is something, you know, like, you know, benefits of healing and de-stressing. They have like lots of, you know, just soothing type of benefits. But then also me wanting 50 more plants, me wanting some more plants that you can take care of. I was like, did I just add another project? Did I just create another project for myself to distract myself? We'll see what he says. But regardless, I'm excited. It's fun. Something nice for the house. And for those of you pet people, don't worry. I know it is can be toxic for pets. So this one's just going to hang out in my bedroom because Blaze isn't allowed in there anyway because it's carpeted. I wish it could be, but that's just like way too much hair. So I'm not gonna leave this one on the living room with him. I think if I do get living room plants, I'm gonna try to make sure they're non-toxic ones, pet-friendly ones, because I do want to see if I can trust him with them, because he's such a chismoso, man. He'd se mete en todo. You know, so if he does take a bite out of one of them, it'll be, you know, a non-toxic one or something. But I know the next one, there's a couple of next ones. I started my list. I've gone down the Instagram rabbit hole, the YouTube plant tours rabbit hole. Anybody else? Comment down below your favorite people to follow. Chances are I'm following them already. But I am super excited for my next couple of plants. I think my next one, someone, you know, low key, I really want a cactus. I probably want like a little collection of cactus, like those little moon cactus that have the little flower on top. Just want a bunch of those little guys to kind of hang out and stuff. Just so decorative. I don't know why. Yeah, cactus. Do want some succulents. The other one that's just beautiful. Forgive me if I'm saying these names wrong. To Calathea. Let me know how you say it. If you're a plant person, you probably know, but those are just beautiful, like patterns. Ooh, a zebra plant would be nice. The other popular one, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, Monstera. Those are pretty too. The Swiss cheese plants. Oh, I'm so excited. I want all the plants. But yeah, I can't wait. Okay. I don't know if I want to do blush. Are we almost done? No, we need a liner and lashes. Let me put those on and be right back. All right, we've got liner and lashes. I didn't want to take away from the chocolatey lid, so I just did a little line. And for me lashes, we have the Ardell Wispies, tried and true. And also, while I was feeling the hot chocolatey vibes, I just got my new earrings from, you guys should follow her. I will link the Instagram as well as her Etsy shop down below. Angmir, Angmir. And she makes some of my favorite earrings, but these are little chocolate abuelita earrings. I thought they were so cute. I think she also has them in stud form too, but I actually went to go visit her little pop-up shop on this past Saturday, so glad I got to catch her. She also watches my videos, which is awesome. I took her down the rabbit hole that is Milani Cosmetics. So excited to hear that she's been loving them, because you should. But back to my plants. Comment down below if you are a hashtag crazy plant lady, or you know, you just love the greenery. What are your favorite plants that you have in your home, or what are some plants that you suggest for, you know, the home? Specifically, I have an apartment, so I don't know if that, you know, makes a difference space wise. But we have 2 bedrooms. I know we have the living room, we have the kitchen, and honestly, this might actually kind of convince me to decorate and just make a little bit homier the second half bathroom that we have, just so I can like line up maybe even like my little cactuses and stuff, like cacti on there as well. But I would love to hear everybody's favorites to see maybe what I need to add to my collection, or what you just like in general. I was trying to see if there was like any suggestions based off of your zodiac sign. So in case you haven't caught it, and I tell you guys all the time, I'm a Gemini. What would you recommend? I feel like if you're really into plants, and if you're like also into astrology, but maybe plants too, for like personality, especially, you know, if you know me, what would you suggest for me to have in my home for a plant to pick up, add to my list, my wish list? Super excited. Also, if you live in Chicago, what are your favorite plant shops? I have been following a lot on Instagram, so I can kind of like hit up. I think it's just fun. There's some of them that do have like, oh, highlight, that do have cafe kind of combos in there, which I think is great. I would like to see a plant, coffee, and bookstore combo. If anybody knows of those in Chicago, that would be fun, just so I can like convince Reggie to go with me. But I feel like he'll take to my plant life like he does most of my projects. He'll come around, but also it's like, it's greenery. You know, he likes nature, he likes greenery, so I think he'll come around pretty quick. But then also, we'll make him come around without even knowing, like we do most things. For example, astrology. He's always like, whatever, you know, and stuff like that. But now that it's been a while, I'll catch him, like, you know, he'll send me astrology memes because, you know, he knows I love them, but he also thinks they're funny. He's a Scorpio. But then also he'll say things like, oh, you know, because I'm a Scorpio, blah, 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 or my Scorpio-ness, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I got you talking astrology with me, so we'll get there with the plants. Anybody knows any good plants for Scorpios? I kept seeing in the suggestions snake plants actually for Scorpios, and then there was another one. I forgot what it was, but that would be fun too. Lipstick. Ooh, I was like, I could do just like kind of a nudie nude, but we're going all out chocolate. So this is one of my favorites, NYX lingerie push up in the shade Teddy. I love this one, so we're just gonna do this one all around. Ooh, all right, I'm glad I went with this one. Next, some Max Fix Plus. But that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this hot chocolatey vibes type of look. Fall is here. Let us embrace it. And we have our cozy fall sweater. Can't wait to buy some more because Target's been having some really good sales, by the way. So excited for that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, chatting with me once again. See what I've been up to, what new hobby I picked up. But this one's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. It's also kind of, you know, functional, decorative for the home. I've been wanting to do some decorating, goes hand in hand with it, and why not do it with some plants? So keep up here. Make sure you follow me on Instagram so you can keep up with my new plant life, my new plants. And for those of you plant ladies, show yourselves. Give me your suggestions, tips that you suggest for a newbie like me. I'm beginning. We are learning and super excited for this new plant a journey, as well as, you know, business journey, all these other projects that I have on my plate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with the rest of my videos, as well as me, you know. I'll see you guys next time.